I want to welcome everyone this afternoon. I'm going to turn on my video for just a moment so you'll be able to see who I am, and it should be coming up in just one quick second. And I'm Monty Tatum. I'm from Freed-Hardeman University, and I've been at this thing we call education for about 37 years now. And we want to thank Quill.com and Learning Revolution and Blackboard Collaborate for hosting our session this afternoon. And if I do this correctly, what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn off my video now so that it won't use up bandwidth. And let me get to the next slide here. I'm going to be talking to you about TwitCast this afternoon, and I want you to go ahead and put on this map where you are from, and it tells me to enable whiteboard permissions, but I sure hope that Miss Peggy has done that. And so I'm going to try and put one where I'm from. So glad to have everyone with us, and I will hold off just a couple of minutes before all right, fantastic. We've got a couple of more people joining us, and for those of you that are joining us, if you'll go ahead and put on the map where you're from, I will go ahead and click to the next slide in just a moment. All right, let me... Again, I'm going to be talking to you about connecting through TwitCast. I have been at Freed-Hardeman University now since 2006. I love TwitCast in that you can do a TwitCast anytime, anywhere, and I'll be talking about that as I go through the various slides. And I do want to let you know that in the chat, I have given you a slide share of the slides that I'm going to be covering this afternoon, as well as a link to the blog where this information has come from. I do several trainings about how to use TwitCast, and I normally do my trainings with blogs, so I had to create these slides by using my blog. And let me, I've been in education ever since about 1979, and I've been at this thing we call educational technology ever since my first master's level class at the University of South Alabama in 1983. And I imagine that may even be before some of you who were born. But my very first class was EDM 510, Microcomputing Systems in Education, and I've been using technology ever since. TwitCasting. The aspect of TwitCasting is basically just back channeling. But along with the back channeling, there is this company called TwitCasting that allows you to do live video feeds. And on this slide at the bottom, you have their address. And when you click on it from the U.S., it automatically puts us.twitcasting.tv. So I imagine if you're in another part of the world, it will put whatever two initials need to go in front of TwitCasting. It does that automatically. You basically just go to twitcasting.tv, and then it verifies it the way that it needs to. Now, the nice thing about TwitCasting is that you can connect to TwitCasting with your Twitter login, and you can connect with TwitCasting with your Facebook login. So I personally use Twitter because that's my professional learning network. And so my recommendation would be whichever social networking tool you use for most of your professional learning network, then use that login. For me, my Facebook is more for family and friends. Plus, my two sisters have told me if I put educational stuff on there, they're going to unfriend me. So therefore, I use Twitter. But the nice thing about it is, whether you are a Twitter user or a Facebook user, you can log in with either one. So what happens is, when you do a TwitCast, that either goes to your Facebook status that you're doing a TwitCast, or a tweet is sent out. And I'm going to see if I can go ahead and start a live TwitCast right now with my other computer so that you can see what happens. It is attempting to do it, and let me see if it's going to start it up, because I want you to sort of get a demonstration. The server is busy right now, so I can't do it. Maybe I can do it before our 20 minutes is up. The nice thing about TwitCasting is that you can do a TwitCast on a Mac, on a PC, and you can do it with a smartphone. So if you have an iOS or an Android, there is an app for it. It is called Live. And so when you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, you look for TwitCasting Live. And it's going to be a little blue bird, or a little blue with a white bird with the word Live. And that's the app that you need to do the live TwitCast. Now, if you're doing it on your Mac or your PC, then you just log in to twitcasting.tv. You log in with the proper either Twitter or Facebook, and then it'll take you to the page where you basically just put in a subtitle, put in the hashtag, and normally you click Start Live and it starts. Apparently their servers are busy right now, so for me it's not wanting to start. Now, you also can watch them on your smart devices, but for that you need another app. So you download the Viewer app, and you know the difference between them because the Live is a blue background with a little white bird, and the Viewer is a green background with a white bird, and it says Viewer. And so if you're on the road or whatever, and a friend of yours is doing a TwitCast, then you will get a notice they're doing a TwitCast. You just open up the Viewer, and you're able to view them live as they are talking. And on this slide, I've given you the actual links to the iTunes Store and the Play Google Store so that you know what those apps are. But again, it's iOS TwitCasting Live, iOS TwitCasting Viewer, Android TwitCasting Live, and Android TwitCasting Viewer. Someone says, are they screen sharing and talking during a TwitCast? The individual, like right now, I'm doing this webinar with you. If I had my video on, and I'm going to click my video one more time, a TwitCast basically is like this. It would be capturing my screen and capturing what I'm saying to the audience. They would be able to see it automatically either on their phone, their iPad, their smartphone, their tablet, or if they're sitting at their computer, they would see me and hear me. And most of the time, even with TwitCast, if I'm doing it in my office, I do it with headphones. But you don't have to see that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn the video off again. But to answer that question, they see it once you're talking. Now, this is what it looks like. I took a screenshot of a tweet that is sent out. And so if a person is following you, then it says, good afternoon, I'm live on TwitCasting from whatever device it happens to be. And then the hashtag that you have told it to use is the hashtag that shows up. I normally use it for my graduate classes, So it's FHU EDU 642. This afternoon I was going to demonstrate it with RSCON5, and let me see if their servers are working yet, so I can demonstrate it for you, and that feed can be sent out on Twitter. But so far, nothing is happening. But anyone with an iPad or a tablet or an iPhone or smartphone, that's what they see, and then they can click on the arrow and it starts playing automatically. So that's the nice thing about TwitCast. Now, the question is asked, how long can they be? I have done a 45-minute TwitCast. So I have never gotten a message saying the TwitCast is too long. And I'm going to show you in just a minute on another slide what it looks like when you are interacting with the TwitCast. Now again, remember to use hashtags. Now the nice thing about your account is you can preload some hashtags and you can tell it which one to be at the top. So right now I've got pound ISTE 2014, pound ISTE APLN, pound RSCON5, and pound FHU EDU 642. So those are the main ones that pop up. Now this is one of my graduate students, and notice that when she sent out her tweet, she added some hashtags. She finished her TwitCast on ISTE standards for Coaches 1 and Students 3. And then she also added the hashtag EdTech and FHU EDU 642. And again, the key is remember to use hashtags. Now, this is what the screen looks like when you get ready to TwitCast. And one of the nice things with the school is you can share with community. So let's say that the community uses your building for various things. Well, you can share with them about those nice things. And so when I'm looking at my iMac or my MacBook, this is the screen that I see. And it just shows me the different times that I've done TwitCast over here at the side. And then right here in the middle, I don't know if you see my cursor moving or not. Let me see if I can do a pointer. Let's see.
Monty, if you click on the star, you can get a hand. Double click on that star.
Okay.
And you can get a hand, and then you double click on the page wherever you want that hand to point, and we'll see it.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. So do y'all, okay, great. So right in here is where you normally would see your picture, and that's where you would see your video. And so that's what's taking place when you do the TwitCast. Now the nice thing about TwitCast, not only can you do it with community, but you can also share things with parents, grandparents, whoever the guardians happen to be. And on my page, when I go to it, this is what it looks like. And so I see all the various TwitCasts that I've done, and I also have the ability to go in there and delete them. Now, I don't know if the question has been asked, how long do they stay? Well, if not very many people are looking at it, in about 48 hours, they'll take it down. But if you go in, give it a title, and several people have looked at it, they don't take it down. So right now, I have about 35 TwitCasts on my page, and they're anywhere from 10 minutes to 25, 30 minutes. Now, you do have the ability to download the video as well. Someone asked if you can save it anywhere. You can download it to your machine and then put it up on Dropbox or whatever social networking tool that you want to put it up on. You also have the ability to share with faculty and staff. And again, this is another screenshot of what the page looks like when you're TwitCasting from either your PC or your MacBook or your iMac. And again, when you TwitCast, a tweet is sent out letting people know. Now, if anyone happens to tweet during that show, their tweets show up right here, and you can respond to them, much like I can look at the chat and see, does it have an embed code? To be honest with you, Peggy, I've not played with it to embed it. It may have. I would just have to check with that. So I'll have to play with that, and then I'll tweet back out to let you know whether or not it does that. So you can share with faculty and staff. What I like about TwitCast, especially since I was an assistant principal for 6 years and a principal for 5 years, if any of this type of technology had been around back in the dark ages, I would have been using it. But the nice thing about TwitCast, you can do ongoing systemic professional development. So let's say you've had a face-to-face with your teachers that day, and you get home and you think, oh no, there's something that I want to share with them. So you can just get in your easy chair, do a TwitCast, put in your hashtag for your school and say, teachers, I know some of you probably aren't even looking at your smart devices right now, but there's something else I want to share with you, so I decided to do a TwitCast to share it, and then you can watch it archived. And so you can just take 5-10 minutes to share with them whatever you want to share with them. And again, the nice thing about the tweet that you send out, if you want to put a website link with it, you can. So it can be whatever you would normally put in a tweet can go in the tweet that's sent out with the TwitCast. If you're a teacher, you can use TwitCast for classwork and homework updates. Again, this is an example of one of my students that was doing a TwitCast for the graduate class, and this was her title. She was doing it on the ISTE-NET standards. So when you do a TwitCast, you have the ability to put in a subtitle. So that subtitle is what shows up there at the top. Now, you can also do a TwitCast for a week in review. Now, let me say this about TwitCast. Most of the people that use TwitCast are people in their early teens and maybe even college students. I don't pay attention to any of the TwitCasts that are on there. I just use it because it's a free application for me to use. And people who follow me know that I usually try to do a TwitCast every Friday. And that's one reason I was trying to do a TwitCast while talking about TwitCast. That would count it as my Friday TwitCast, but I'll have to do that Friday TwitCast later. But so if I'm a principal, assistant principal, counselor, even in the central office, let's say you're working with all of the English teachers, you could do a TwitCast every Thursday afternoon to give all those English teachers updates of what's happening in the central office. So it is a nice tool to use no matter where I am in education, be it a teacher, an administrator, central office, or even in my case, a college professor. You can also use TwitCast for academic club updates. PTO, PTA updates. And again, I tried to use snapshots of my different students that were doing TwitCast. And as you notice, I want you to see the various titles. They put the titles of what they were actually doing. So this young lady has the title of EDU 642 NETS ISTE Standards. This next one, EDU 642 TwitCasting, ISTE C2, and ISTE S1. So you want the title to be explanatory so that people will really know what they're looking at. Now, I just got through seeing a question. Let me see. If you wanted a student to share something exciting with the parents, they could use TwitCast on your device. Again, that would go back to your system's use policy of devices. My first response would be, yes, they could. Now, what you would need to be careful is that if that student, the parent has to have signed the waiver that the student's image can be seen, or you can do an audio-only TwitCast. So if it was something that the students wanted to share that was happening in class, you could do a TwitCast and just have their audio, or you could be showing their project and then the student could be talking about it. So it's not seeing their image, it's just hearing their voice. But again, for a student to do a TwitCast, you need to make sure that you've gotten those proper permissions, just like any other technology that would be used. I've already said that we could use it for PTO, PTA updates. You can also use it for sports and club updates. Now, notice that this individual has not gone in and given it a title. So if you don't give it a title, it just simply says recorded live and gives it a random number. Now, for this particular individual, if they did not go in and give it a title, then after a few hours, that would go away. But if you go back in and give it a title, then it doesn't go away. Now, for hers, it probably wouldn't go away anyway, because I don't know if you notice under her picture, it shows how many people have viewed it. 18 people have viewed it. And with TwitCast, usually if anywhere between 5 to 10 people have viewed it, they leave it up and don't take it down, because they see that people are going up and looking at it. Now, I don't know if you've noticed the different slides, but it tells you how long the TwitCast has been, how many people have viewed it, and how many people were actually viewing it live, and what device you were using. So let me go back to a couple of the other young ladies. You see that this one has 25 views, and she did an 8-minute and 4-second, and she had 3 live viewers, and she was doing it on her PC. This one, 11 minutes, 9 seconds, 15 views, 3 live viewers, and she was on her PC. So that's some information that I want you to be aware that it gives. You can also use TwitCast for bad weather updates. So this would be a great tool for principals to use to get the message out. Even though your system may be sending messages out, you could let your parents know ahead of time, okay, this is our school's hashtag, and I'm going to be using this periodically on Twitter, and I'm going to be using it periodically on TwitCast. You could even use the same hashtag if you're a Facebook user. So either way, you could use the hashtags. I just think hashtags can be seen a little easier on Twitter versus Facebook. Now, this particular student, if she knew that I had captured her face in this way, she would shoot me. But you see that she had 13 minutes and 9 seconds, and she had 97 people to view her TwitCast. And she had 9 viewers as she was doing it live. And so, to me, this is just good information for me to know, especially if you're given something as a project. It lets you know how popular that particular title was that they were working on. Now, again, this is my information, and feel free to contact me at any time, and I'll leave this screen up for just a second. And again, if you caught the links at the beginning of the TwitCast, you can get these slides on SlideShare, as well as access to my blog. And this is my blog that I've already given you the, I actually gave you my true blog title, but this is a shortened, and thank you, Peggy, for putting that up for me. I also did a TwitCast presentation at ISTE, and I did a compilation of that on YouTube. And if Peggy is as good as she is, you'll probably see that link on the side in just a moment. But this is about a 15-minute YouTube presentation of where I took all the different presentations and put it in one movie where I talked about TwitCasting. So if you want to get a little bit different perspective, you might want to watch that YouTube as well. Again, I want to thank everyone for your interaction. I've tried to answer questions as we've gone along, but are there any other questions that people might have? No, they don't have to be synchronous. A lot of times a TwitCast is not seen as you're doing it, so I just go back to Twitter after the fact and answer whatever questions they may have. That's a good question, Anna Maria. Thank you. I know that the other presentations are going to begin in about 4 minutes. What kind of assignments do students do in TwitCast? From a college level, any project that I assign to them, I have them do TwitCast for. It gives a summation of what they've done. Now, if I was a high school person and we had the freedom to use TwitCast, I would have the students showing their project and talking about their project and not necessarily them on it. But thank you, everyone, and have a great day. And I'm going to stop the recording now.